Welcome to the second part of Bridge course for SSLC students. In the first part, we learned how mathematics is important for physics. Mathematics is called a tool of physics. Without the knowledge of mathematics, we cannot learn physics. And in the first part, we learned some important concepts of mathematics, which will be used in PUC for further studies. So in today's class also we will learn some more important concepts of mathematics which are required for further understanding in the PUC class. Okay, so welcome to second part of bridge course. So in today's class we will discuss about trigonometric ratios. Trigonometry means here this trigonometry. In this, tri means 3, then gono means angles, and metro means measurements. So this becomes triangle measurement. So trigonometry means triangle measurement. Yes, trigonometry means triangle and measurement. So the most important skill you need is the ability to correctly label the sides of a right triangle. So to define trigonometric ratios, first we should learn to label the sides of a right angle. So remember, these trigonometric ratios are defined only for the right angled triangle. Right angle triangle means a triangle which has got at least one right angle. Right angle means the 90-degree angle. Okay, so first we will learn how to label the sides of this triangle. We label the sides of the triangle as hypotenuse, opposite side, and adjacent side. Labeling means naming. Okay, so we name the three sides of the triangle as hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent side. So let us see which side is called hypotenuse and which side is called opposite and which side is called adjacent. So first let us see which is hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is easy to locate because it is always found across from the right angle. So the angle which is across right angle, this is right angle. Right angle means the angle equal to 90-degree. Okay, so the side across this means this one. So this one is called hypotenuse, or the side opposite to the right angle is called hypotenuse. This is the longest side in the triangle. Okay, so here is the right angle, then the side opposite to this right angle, which is indicated by red color, is the hypotenuse. Now let us see how to name the other two sides. Okay, so before that, to name the other two sides, first we have to take one reference angle. Before we label other two sides, you must have a reference angle. It can be either of the two angles. So already the side opposite to the right angle is named as hypotenuse. Okay, now to name the other two sides, we take one reference angle. So that reference angle may be any of the remaining two angles. Okay, the remaining two angles will be acute angles. Yes, in the right triangle below, let us pick angle B as the reference angle. So here we take angle B as the reference angle. So if you take B as the reference angle, then the side across B, or the side opposite to this angle B, is called opposite side. Okay, now B is the reference angle. B is the reference angle. The side opposite to this reference angle is called opposite side. Yes, this is opposite side already. So now we named two sides. One is hypotenuse and the other one is uh, opposite side. So now let us name the remaining side is adjacent side. So here adjacent means next to or beside. So the side beside these two, hypotenuse and opposite side, is called adjacent side. So here remaining side AB is the adjacent side. So this is how we name the three sides of a triangle. Okay, so once again let us see here, we named the three sides as the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is the side opposite to the right angle. Then opposite means the side opposite to the reference angle is opposite side, and the remaining side is the adjacent side. Okay, yes. Now here we have taken this theta as the reference angle. If theta is the reference angle, then here this becomes opposite side, and the one opposite to this 90 degree, this is hypotenuse, and this one is adjacent. Okay, so this is hypotenuse, this is adjacent, and this is opposite. So first we must learn how to label these sides. So now we will define trigonometric ratios. So there are three types of trigonometric ratios. They are sine ratio, cosine ratio, and tangent ratio. So now first let us define sine ratio. So the sine ratio is defined as it is the ratio of opposite to the hypotenuse. The ratio of the opposite side to the hypotenuse is called sine. Okay, so in short form we write it as a sine. Don't read it as sin theta. We should read it as sine theta. So sine theta is defined as the ratio of opposite and hypotenuse. Here opposite is shown with yellow color and hypotenuse is shown with red color. Okay, then next we will define cos theta. Cos theta is defined as adjacent by hypotenuse. So already we know which is adjacent, right? So adjacent side, here adjacent side is shown with red color. Theta is the reference angle, right? If we take theta as the reference angle, then this becomes opposite, this becomes hypotenuse, and this the side shown with red color becomes adjacent. So cos theta is defined as adjacent by hypotenuse. Next, tan theta. So tan theta is defined as opposite by adjacent. So again here, if theta is the reference, this is opposite, this is hypotenuse, and this is adjacent. So now tan theta becomes opposite side divided by adjacent side. So opposite divided by adjacent. Okay, so this is how we define three trigonometric functions. Okay, sine, cos, and tan theta. So here if you see the definition of sine, cos, and tan, you can write the relation between sine, cos, and tan. Okay, so you can see that tan theta is equal to sine theta by cos theta. So remember this, tan theta is equal to sine theta by cos theta. So here sine theta is opposite by hypotenuse, then divided by cos theta. Cos theta is adjacent by hypotenuse. So now here hypotenuse gets cancelled and we get opposite by adjacent. So in this way, if you know the definition of sine theta and cos theta, you can easily find tan theta, because tan theta is equal to sine theta by cos theta. So you remember this relation. Okay, Yes. Now let us move to the next slide. Yes. Once again we will repeat it. Sin theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. Next, cos theta is equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse. Tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. And make sure that the triangle is right angled. That means all these trigonometric ratios are defined for a right angled triangle. Okay. Now now we will learn three more trigonometric functions. First one is cosec theta. So this or it is cosecant theta. In short, we call it as cosec theta. So this cosec theta is defined as the ratio of hypotenuse to opposite side. The ratio of hypotenuse to opposite side is called cosec theta, or we can also write cosec theta is equal to 1 by sin theta. You know that sin theta is opposite by hypotenuse. So cosec is reciprocal of sin theta. Therefore it becomes hypotenuse by opposite. So remember this relation also. Cosec theta is equal to 1 by sin theta. Next we define sec theta or secant theta. Secant theta, it is called sec theta in short. Okay. So sec theta is defined as hypotenuse by adjacent side, and this is equal to 1 by cos theta. If you see the definition, you will get this relation. Okay. So sec theta is equal to 1 by cos theta. Then last one is cot theta. So cot theta is defined as adjacent by opposite side. So once again here, cot theta can be written as 1 by tan theta. See, these are, first we learned three trigonometric ratios. These are reciprocals of those trigonometric functions. Here cosec theta is the reciprocal of sin theta, sec is the reciprocal of cos theta, and cot is the reciprocal of tan theta. So tan theta can also be written as cot theta can also be written as cos theta by sin theta, because tan theta is sin theta by cos theta. Therefore cot theta is cos theta by sin theta. Okay. So in this way we defined 6 trigonometric functions. Okay. So you remember these 6 trigonometric functions. Now we will see the values of these trigonometric functions for some standard angles. So here first sin theta. So if theta is equal to 30 degree, then sin theta will be 0. So sin 0 is 0. Remember this, the value of sin 0 is 0. Then the value of sin 30 is 1 by 2. The value of sin 45 is 1 by root 2. The value of sin 60 is root 3 by 2. And the value of sin 90 is 1. So you remember these values. If you remember this one line, if you remember the values of sine function for these different angles, then remaining trigonometric values you can easily remember. Okay, so these values are important, sine values. Sine 0 is 0, sine 30 is 1 by 2, sine 45 is 1 by root 2, sine 60 is root 3 by 2, and sine 90 is 1. So if you remember these, then cos are exactly reverse of this. So we write them in reverse order like this. We start from here. 1 comes here, then root 3 by 2 comes here. So cos 0 is 1, cos 30 is root 3 by 2, cos 45 is 1 by root 2, sin 60 is 1 by 2, and cos 90 is 0. So the cos values are exactly in reverse order of sine values. So if you remember the values of sine, easily you can remember the values of cos. Okay. Then we define tan. So if you know the sine, you can easily know cos theta. If you know both sine and cos, you can write values of tan theta also, because tan theta is equal to sine theta by cos theta. So now here tan 0 is equal to sine 0 by cos 0. So sine 0 is 0, cos sine 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1. So 0 by 1 is 0. Similarly, tan 30 is equal to sine 30 by cos 30. So here sine 30 is 1 by 2 divided by cos 30 is root 3 by 2. So here 2 gets cancelled. Then we get 1 by root 3. Similarly, tan 45 is equal to 1 by root 2 divided by 1 by root 2. So we get 1. Similarly, tan 60 equal to sine 60 divided by cos 60. So it is root 3 by 2 divided by 1 by 2. So again here 2 gets cancelled. We get root 3. Then tan 90 is equal to sine 90 by cos 90. So here sine 90 is 1, cos 90 is sine 90 is 1 and cos 90 is 0. So 1 by 0 is infinity. Remember, any number divided by 0 is infinity or indefinite form. So these are the values of trigonometric functions. As I told you before, you just remember these values, sine values, then easily you can remember values of other trigonometric functions. Here you can write values of other three trigonometric functions also: cosec theta, sec theta and cot theta. Cosec theta is reciprocal of sine theta. Therefore, cosec 0 means 1 by sine 0. 1 by sine 0 is 1 by 0. So 1 by 0 is infinity. So cosec 0 value is infinity. So that way you can write the values of other three trigonometric functions also. Okay. Yes. Now let us move to the next slide. Okay. So in this table we define the values of trigonometric functions for some standard angles. So these angles are only up to 90 degree, 0 to 90 degree. Now to find the values of trigonometric functions for more than 90 degree, how to do that? So for that you have to remember this quadrant. You know that when the plane can be divided into 4 quadrant. If you take x-axis, see, this is x-axis and this is y-axis. So when we draw x and y-axis, we get 4 quadrants. This is called first quadrant, this is called second quadrant, this is third quadrant, and this is fourth quadrant. So in this quadrant, in the first quadrant, if we measure the angle, we start the measurement of angle from this x-axis, and we always measure the angle in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise means opposite to the motion of clock. So in the clock moves like this, right? The hands in a clock move in this direction. So the opposite of that is anti-clockwise. So sides of a angles are always measured in this anti-clockwise direction. So if from here to here it is 90 degree. If the value of angle is 90 degree, 0 to 90 degree, then all sine values will be, all trigonometric values will be positive. So here all positive is given. All positive means for angles between 0 and 90 degree, the values of all trigonometric functions will be positive. And here it will be more than 90 and less than 180. So we can write it in this form: 90 plus theta. So more than 90 and less than 180. So If the angles are more than 90 degree and less than 180, then here only sine and cosec will be positive. Hmm? In the second quadrant, only sine and cosec are positive. Remaining trigonometric functions are negative. Which are the remaining trigonometric functions now? Cos, tan, sec, and cot. So these are remaining trigonometric functions. So the values of these trigonometric functions will be negative in the second quadrant. Second quadrant means when the angle is more than 90 and less than 180. So then the only sine and cosec will be positive. Then in the third quadrant, see, this is 0 to 90, this is 90 to 180. Now this will be 180 to 270. So if the angle is 180 plus theta, then it comes in the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, tan and cot are positive. Remaining all trigonometric functions are negative. So which are the remaining trigonometric functions here? Sine, cos, sec, cosec, right? So these values will be negative. Then in the fourth quadrant, it is 270 to 360. If the angles are between 270 and 360, then only cos and sec will be positive. Cos and sec will be positive. So cos and sec are positive. Remaining trigonometric functions will be negative. Okay. So now I will tell you how to remember it easily. We call it as ASTC rule. ASTC. So you can easily remember it. ASTC. A is first quadrant, S in second quadrant, T third, C in fourth quadrant. So here A means all positive. S means sign positive. So if sign is positive, then its reciprocal cosec is also naturally positive. So in third quadrant, tan positive. If tan is positive, T means tan. So if tan is positive, then its reciprocal cot is also positive. Then C means cos. So if cos is positive, then sec is positive. So in this way, you can easily remember this ASTC. It is called ASTC rule. Okay, remember this ASTC. A in the first quadrant says S second, T third, and C fourth. Okay, so now let us move to the next quadrant. We will see some examples for this. If angles are more than 90, how to write their values. See here, sine 90 plus theta. Here you remember one thing, and the angle is in the form 90 plus theta, then every function changes to its co-function. Means sine changes to cos, cos changes to sine, tan changes to cot, sec changes to cosec, that way. Okay, so here sine 90 plus theta, therefore sine changes to cos, and 90 plus theta, it comes in the second quadrant. In second quadrant, sine is positive, therefore this value is positive. Then cos 90 plus theta, here 90 plus theta again in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, only sine and cosec are positive, therefore it should be negative. So here we get minus sign, and this cos changes to sine. Okay, so cos 90 plus theta is equal to minus sine theta. Similarly, tan 90 plus theta is equal to minus cot theta. Why minus here? Because 90 plus theta is in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, only sine and cosec are positive. Therefore, this tan is negative. And here, since the angle is 90 here, this tan changes to cot. Therefore, tan of 90 plus theta is equal to minus cot theta. Or we can also see some more examples here. Sine of 180 minus theta. 180 minus theta also comes in the second quadrant. Less than 180, more than 90. So 180 minus theta also comes in the second quadrant. So when angle is written in this form, the function does not change. Okay, sine remains sine only we have to apply the sine here. So 180 minus theta comes in the second quadrant means as yes, sine is positive, therefore here we will get positive, so plus sine theta. So cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta, tan 180 minus theta is minus tan theta. So remember, when the angles are written in the form of 90 plus theta, function changes to co-function, sine changes to cos changes to sine, and tan changes to cot. But when the angles are written in 180 plus or minus theta, 180 minus theta or plus theta, then the functions do not change. Sine remains sine only, cos remains cos only, tan remains tan only. We have to only apply the proper sign. Okay, yes. So now let us move to the next slide. So in the next slide we will see some important trigonometric formulae. Sine of a plus b is equal to sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. Then cos of a plus b is equal to cos a cos b minus sine a sine b. Now sine of a minus b is equal to sine a cos b minus cos a sine b. Similarly, cos of a minus b, cos of a plus b already we have written here, right? Cos of a plus b is cos a cos b minus sine a sine b. So if you take cos of a minus b, then here sign changes. See here. So cos of a minus b is equal to cos a cos b plus sine a sine b. Similarly, sine 2a, sine 2a is equal to 2 sine a cos a. Then cos 2a is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square a equal to 2 cos square a minus 1. These are very important formulae. We have to remember all these formulae. Okay, all these formulae we have to remember. Cos 2a is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square a or 2 cos square a minus 1. So next is sine of a plus b. Sine of a plus sine of b. Sine of a plus sine of b is equal to 2 sine of a plus b by 2 cos a minus b by 2. Similarly, sine a minus sine b equal to 2 cos a plus b by 2 sine a minus b by 2. So remember all these formulae. See here, this is the graph of sine function. If you take y is equal to sine x, and if you give different values to x, first x equal to 0, sine 0 is 0, so we get the graph here, right? And then here values, angles are given 0, pi, 2 pi, so in the middle we will get pi by 2. Here pi means 180 degree, 2 pi means 360 degree, so pi by 2 is 90 degree. You know that 90 is 1, right? Sine 90 is 1, so sine 0 is 0, sine 90 is 1, then sine 180 is again 0, sine 270 is minus 1, and sine 360 is 1, sorry, 0. So therefore we get the graph like this. So you can here this graph is given with reference to a particle moving along the circular path. When a particle completes one rotation, see here, so here this sine completes one cycle, this is called one sine wave, right? Okay, so therefore a particle moving in a circular path executes sine function. Okay, so this is very important concept. We will learn this in PUC, okay, oscillations chapter. Okay, so let us move to the next slide. Here cos 135, the graphs are given here. from the graph we can find the values of cos 135. Cos 135 means cos of 90 plus 45. Cos of 90 plus 45 means here when 90 is there, cos changes to sine, and it comes in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant only sine is positive, therefore this cos will be negative, so here we get minus value. So in this way cos of 90 plus 45 is equal to minus sine 45. Okay, yes. Similarly, sine of 135. Sine of 135 can be written as sine 90 plus 45. Again here, when angle is 90, this sine changes to cos. But in the 90 plus 45, it comes in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, sine value is positive. So here we get plus cos 45. Okay, yes. Now cos 120. Cos 120 can be written as cos of 180 minus 60. So when the angle is 1 in the form of 180 minus theta, the function remains as it is. Only we have to apply the sine. Here 180 minus 60 comes in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant only sine and cosine are positive. Therefore this cos will be negative. So we get minus here. So this is how we get the values of trigonometric functions. Okay. Now here one more example. Sine of 120. Sine of 120 can be written as 180 minus 60. Again here 180 means sine remains as it is. Just we have to see the sine. 180 minus 60, it comes in the second quadrant. In second quadrant sine is positive. So here we get plus sine 60. Okay. So this is how we find the values of trigonometric functions. So you can see here the value of sine function changes from 0 to minus 1. So the maximum value is plus 1 and the minimum value is minus 1. Okay. So this is another graph. Yes, so these trigonometric values and these definitions are helpful in physics. See here, it is used in resolution of a vector. You will learn it in physics. Vector means a physical quantity having both magnitude and direction. You will learn it in detail in PUC. So here if A is a vector and if it makes angle theta with this x-axis, then ax equal to a cos theta. That means the x component of a is a cos theta and y component of a is a sin theta. This is how we resolve a vector. Okay, so this we will learn in PUC in detail. So here these trigonometric functions are useful to us. Then in the definition of work also we use this trigonometric function. So far you learned that work is the product of force and displacement. Actually it is the product of force and displacement, force and the component of force in the direction of displacement, that is f cos theta. So W is equal to Fs cos theta. So here also we get trigonometric function. So in this way in physics these trigonometric functions are very helpful. It is also used to find the components of velocity in projectile motion. Projectile motion means when any object is thrown in the air, it moves in this form. Okay, so it goes like this. So in this process it has two components. Velocity has two components, x component and also y component. So here also we use these trigonometric functions. Okay, so let us stop here. In the next class, we will discuss about calculus. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. To watch more such videos, please click on the links given here and don't forget to subscribe.